Hello everyone and welcome back to Eve Market, your weekly look at the amarr market. Our staff is already complaining. Shut up. Alright, there was a mass test earlier this week on Tuesday. That's testing out the new tech trees with the stuff that's gonna change. I've not been there. I know I was noticed it too late. Well, basically way too late, because it was like 2 days later I saw there was a mass test. I'm like, shit, missed it. So unfortunately has not been there. Totally missed it. I'm hoping next time I maybe can join up. It won't be next week because I got late shift. It's not gonna happen. But right here for the market, we're gonna start straight off with the minerals. I had to fly back from Nullsec towards here for the market. So yeah, I had to fly back and forth a bit. Alright, at least here we are here. We are gonna look at titanium first, and it has been going up a little bit this week, but mainly we've seen that there's a downtrend on the price for titanium here. Starting to go down, heading for currently still sitting at the 4 mark there. It's been quite high, but we've seen over a long time we have been going up. We see now the small drop is maybe a small one, because you see a little bit back here. See also a small drop and then started to go back up again, so we might see the same thing here at the moment. Currently there are apparently more market hubs showing up in here. 4.87 in ASAP for titanium is low amount. In the station here we are already paying over 5x, 5.08 for titanium on the seller side and 4.81 on the buyers. We have gone down slightly on that compared to last week, but it is still a quite high price, I must say, for titanium. I like it more around the 4.5 isk, but we can go there quite fast if you look at the prices here for that. And ferrite has been going down pretty much the whole week. We had a little bit of an uptrend like 2-3 weeks ago on the price, but looked a little bit good for it, but unfortunately now it's going back down again. It seems to be already stabilizing a little bit between on a pretty normal price between buyers and sellers difference. It's just pretty much back at the beginning before the uptrend on price. Next door 5.80 on the sellers there and 5.82 in trade hub, and on the buyers 5.68 current price. Also here a decent drop on that price. Maxlon, what was always so good on price, is just, yeah, it had a little bit of an uptrend here in the beginning of the week after another spike here and a huge drop on the price of Maxlon. We had this nice increase again, which might indicate we're coming back up in price, but unfortunately for the last 2 days we already start dropping again in price, and this might even push further on during the weekend. We're already down to a 66 average per price, so it looks like we are heading towards the 65 maybe. But there's just a lot more Maxlon, looks like, coming towards the market at the moment. And there is definitely a lot of Maxlon coming towards the market. It is 14 million, 147 million, 10 million. There's a lot coming on the market here, and the buyers are not that big. So we are probably gonna see definitely a price drop here. 67.48 currently here for the sellers and 46.82 currently on the buyers, and that's a quite of a drop because it was 68.21 last week. So we are dropping quite fast here in price for Maxlon. I think if you have Maxlon lying around, I think Maxlon gonna keep on dropping, and we're gonna see quite soon heading towards the 60 isk again for Maxlon. What I think is a bit of a normal price for it after this huge increase for a long time, starting from beginning of the year. So I think it's gonna drop down more towards the 60 isk per unit for Maxlon. Then oxygen, after the spike we had here, with the long stability and the spike here, basically back on the normal price before the jump up from the price here. We do see huge sales here on oxygen earlier this week, and that is a really big spike on sales, like 10-15 times more than normal from for oxygen, because the normal amount is more sitting around like 40 million, between 40-50 million, maybe even 30. Yeah, between 30 and 50 million on a normal day. But this huge spike up over 420 million in one day, like almost a $500 million oxygen being sold in one day. What I'm really surprised about this is this huge sales had not a lot of effect on the price for oxygen. With these big sales, you would expect it going to be a huge increase in price or a huge drop in price. It had no effect at the moment on the market. We may see during the weekend maybe some movement then, but for now I doubt it we're gonna see movement, because if this big sales has no effect, then all the other sales has not gonna have any effect on that. 49.92 currently for the sellers and 48.08 on the buyers. Surprisingly, that has slightly gone up on that side. Oh, oxygen. Oxygen has been going down also here, in huge sales on oxygen in like for 2 days in a row, and that definitely had an effect here on the price. Oxygen was already going down. Someone decided it's gonna be time now to sell all his supplies. Normal amounts here for a day is around 11, between 10 and 20 million, I guess, for oxygen per day. But we had the 2 days in a row. One day has like 30 million sold, and the other day even 50 million. What is a quite huge quantity for it. But also here, not too much effect on the market. A slight increase even, so it made the oxygen stop dropping in price currently, and made a small jump up for looks like 2 days in a row, 2 maybe 3 days. But it is already going back down again. We can see that on the 5-day, that's already starting to drop again on that line. So it had a small effect, but it's already starting to die off again on that side. 344.97 on the sellers next door, and 344.98 here in the trade hub, and 329.17 here in on the buy side. Then Zynerit, let's see if I had a huge sales here then. Nope. Here the sales are quite normal, so there's nothing that came here towards the market. We still see here a bit of an increase in the price for it. I can also notice that myself in Cheetah. Also there the price is increasing. But also here we're seeing a quite steady increase on it. It looks like already here for the last 2 days it's starting to slow down. The price increase. We might just have another jump up here. That the price is gonna stay a little bit high. Then it's starting to drop off again, maybe getting some more sales. Then the price drops again, stays a little bit low, very short, or for 1 or 2 weeks, and then starting to maybe go back up again. It looks like we're gonna get that at the moment. 1095 currently on the sellers and 1050 on the buyers. It's a quite high price on the buyers here, then the next one is 1030, then you drop already below the 1000. I think they put up their price a little bit too high on that. I think you can get it cheaper and the price won't increase much. Then again, supplies looks to be a little bit running out here at the moment, but not really too much on that. Then Megasite, quite stable price here. We don't see any big movements here. It looks like, well, we do have a quite low average today on Megasite. looks to be starting to drop down in price. That means it will get really close to the Zynoid price, because Zynoid is had a slight uptrend in price, while Megasite is starting to go down. Those differences are going to be really small then on the price, because the difference is already not big, and this will make it only smaller on that. But at the moment it looks like Megasite is going back down even more. We're already going down for a while with these ups and downs, but surprised that we did not really had an up in between here after the last up, then it dropped down. I would more expect between here and another uptrend on price, but that has not happened, and that is now pushing the price more down on here. 1234 currently on the sellers and 1200 on the buyers. That is already quite low on price here. And this is a quite high one that came in. We see here that the next one is 1000 of 1167. We can go down quite quickly here on that price. For Zynoid, that's not a big order up. That is a decent size. This is a decent size order up for that. So it can go lower if there not going to be any new orders coming in. And there's also definitely here, if you look at this, a lot of Megasite coming on to the market. And last mineral, Morphite. Not too much on the market, but Morphite is still really stable on price. You can already see for like 1, 2, 3, 4 months in a row it is really stable with the small drops and ups on the price, but on average you can almost pull a straight line in here for the prices. But Morphite is getting enough supply towards the market and enough demand on the market. Still, there's not too much on it, but there are decent size orders on the market here, and that's why Morphite is staying so stable at the moment. 9561 on the sellers, 9113 on the buyers. Basically we're sitting still at the same line as last week. That's not what we're gonna have. Then we go on for we'll just take Plex. Just gonna look at Plex. Plex is keep beating records, and Plex is still going up in price. There's no end to this. It's starting from we already started like a year ago with the uptrend in Plex. Went quite up high until November, when it hit a stop price from around 2.5 million. After that we start dropping. Definitely in the winter here we dropped in price. We dropped in price here, and then the summer starts kicking in here, and you see the price going up. Changes are made, and even more and more increase in the price here. I keep selling contracts getting accepted and accepted. So we're seeing more and more of an increase here on price, and we're seeing now an average price above the 3 million for on Plex. We're seeing a small drop today on that, but really small on that. But we're seeing really record prices keep breaking here. Almost 3.1 million next door for Plex. That is insanely high for Plex. And it just keeps on selling and selling. I'm surprised that the sell volume was quite high here. It was quite on the line here. I must say that I've looked here. The sell volume of Plex is dropping. We can see also here that we had the sell volume drop, but it even looks to be a little bit lower than here. I don't know what this gonna mean for Plex really. Sell volume is dropping can mean multiple things. Can go up, can go down, basically. But it's so high priced already. I've no idea where Plex is gonna go. So about 3.1 million already for the sellers, and 2.9, almost 3 million on the buyer side for Plex. Last week was 2885, it's in now 299,984 on Plex. It is such a high record price. We keep beating the record high price for Plex week after week with this. So with the current buyer's price here, you're gonna pay about almost 1.5 billion is for 500 plex. The 1.5 billion is for an Omega account currently, and that is a lot. It's really huge. If this keeps on going, I cannot make enough money to out of not out of manufacturing so far I know of flexing all my 3 accounts. It's not possible so far I know. I need to really look better in my profits and stuff for that. So Plex is really breaking records prices. Skill extractor, also these are keep breaking record prices. This still keeps on going up here. We had last time a huge spike with a small drop. Pretty much looks like this week a little bit of a drop, and then it just keeps on going up again. Also here, this is just such a high amount. I think these can be bought with. Can these things be bought with Plex? I have no idea, to be honest. It is really high also here on price and just keeps on going up. Supply on the market looks to be quite short on this. Currently next door you pay about 350 million for a skill extractor. 356 million here in the trade hub. On the buyer side, that is in range 330 million currently on the buyer side. Really high prices for this. Large skill injector, sorry, not extractor, is staying quite stable. We're seeing a little bit of uptrend for the last few days in price. We had this big drop here a few weeks ago. Then it went slightly up, but it did not continue on what I would expect it, and start quite fast dropping again in price. Now we're seeing the line back up again. We might gonna see maybe a small jump up or a big jump up on this price, because these are usually still following really the Plex prices a lot. We see definitely here some movement in there. Not sure where it's gonna end up here. 744.8 million currently on the sellers next door, and there are so many trade ups showing up there, and pretty much 760 million here in the trade hub. 719.1 million currently on the buy side. Small skill injector still quite short listed. It is in total about just over a month now on the market. We see some fluctuations here in the beginning of the week on the price, but starting to flat out already here. I have a little bit of an Steam messages. Hold on, so before you start complaining even more. We're seeing a little bit of an uptrend in price before, and then drop down again, and then we see another uptrend for that. So it's even fucking responded again. Shut up. So yeah, I think this one is still intended to go down. I think, but it is quite even compared to the large skill injectors. What seems to be starting to go up, so expecting the small ones to also go up a little bit on price, because they need to match a little bit with the large ones. 148 million currently on the sellers, 152.5 million here in the trade hub, and 142.5 million on the buyers. Then I still haven't made a list which we're gonna go. Just gonna start from the top. Advanced planetary materials, broadcast notes. Not too much movement in here. We see basically a little bit buyers sellers difference. We've seen that we're in an uptrend in the middle of the week. Then it's starting to go back down again on the low price. Had to be sitting on for a while there, but for mostly of the week, and quite stable price here. Not too huge amount of movements on that side. 2.2 million currently for the sellers, 2.3 million here in the trade hub, and 2.1 million currently for the buyers. Integrated response drones. Well, my voice is running away slowly. Hold on. Alright. I'm not really getting the voice quite back in my head. There's a lot of issues last week with my voice. Integrated response drones staying very stable this whole week, except for yesterday and today we see a little bit bias and subtle difference, but that's about it. But pretty much for the whole week we've seen a flat line on that. We see a little spike on sales here that had no effect on it. But for now, small jumps yesterday and today on that. Yesterday drop, today a spike. Might see a little bit of movement during the weekend, but it's quite stable for now. 2.6 million currently for the sellers, 2.3 million for the buyers. Nano Factory, not doing a huge amount here either. Staying quite stable on prices between buyers and sellers difference. Looks like the buyers are dropping a little bit more in price on that, because that one dropped a little bit more compared to the beginning of the week. But also here, I think this one is going to drop more down again towards this price here. Maybe starting to fluctuate a little bit between the highest prices here and the lower prices here. It's already heading towards, but I don't expect much more movement in this side. I'm really worried a little bit about these, because they are dropping more and more in price, about just above 1 million currently on the sellers, and 928,500 currently on the buyers. What is really low, and I think we can drop quite a lot more. I have currently about 3,000 lying around, so yeah, I don't like this price. Organic water applicators, also here really stable. We see buyers sellers difference. That's the only thing I see here. It tends to go this week more towards the buyers, but is making the graph slightly go down on that. We don't see any drop in price on the buyer side at least, but also not on the sellers. We don't see a drop or an increase there. So here quite stable on supply and demand for this. Just under the 1.1 million currently for the sellers, and also for the buyers the margin is really small. There's only like let's see, 20-30 million difference in it on that, but that's one next door, and in the trade hub we're much closer to the 1.1 million on this side. Cursive computing module, also not much also no movement in here really. We've seen a small increase in the 5-day average here, but that's already starting to drop again. So there's a little bit more bought off the market here straight away. Push the line slightly up. We see already here today we're sitting more on the buyer side than on the seller side. But also here really stable on supply and demand. Not a lot of movement in that side. 1.6 million currently for the sellers, 1.5 million on the buyers. Self-harmonizing power cores, these are still a little bit on the downtrend. We do see for the last 2-3 days we're seeing a small increase in price for that, but also today we're seeing a little bit of a drop again on the average price. But it looks like also this one is starting to stabilize quite soon on the prices, but maybe already these are the stable prices for the self-harmonizing power cores. So not too much movement in here for that, and a good stability there also. So all the PI seems to be really starting to stabilize out on the prices now. It depends on how long that's going to hold. At some point it will break and we're going to see a jump or a drop in prices. For the sellers, they're saying at 2.1 million basically in both systems for that. Next door and in the trade hub, about 1.9 million on the buyers. Stereo conducts, these are on the downtrend on price. They're still really making a drop. It looked like here for a moment that they starting to stabilize, but they were quite long time quite low on the low side on the lines. We definitely see now it broke, and we see a sudden drop in price to just above the 1 million. I think this is gonna stabilize maybe a little bit on that, depending on what the market is gonna do, what players are gonna do. They wanna buy in more or sell more on the market. All depends on what's gonna happen next on supply and demand. Is it gonna stabilize, gonna drop more, or are we gonna get a spike? 1.2 million on the sellers, about 1.1 million on the buyers. Looking amount of buyers and sellers, I'm gonna expect here more of a price drop there, because there is a lot on the market. Wetware mainframe, also these still on a huge drop in price. For that, we saw a little bit here on a high price. It might indicate it went up in price, but it did not. It's just starting to dive more down on this price for the last, starting from looks like Tuesday. We're seeing a drop in price. During the weekend it went slightly higher, but it could not hold this up, and we're seeing more of a drop on here. It seems to be heading towards the cannot see, price just broke. She just managed to break, so I cannot see a price here on the average price, but we are sitting quite low on that. Looks like we're heading towards the 250,000 per unit, if I'm right. I don't know, I'm really badly wrong. 2.1 million currently on the sellers. Everything is here in the trade hub. There's not many, some things people are not really using the trade hub next door, other things are really a lot. 1.9 million on the buyers. Fuel blocks, helium fuel blocks. Really stable on price here, sitting around 21,000 on the sellers, and pretty much on the probably around the same price on the rest. But it's quite stable for pretty much the whole week. Seeing the high and lows a bit staying on the same spot, low price around the 20, high price around the 21, staying there pretty much for a whole month after this huge spike we had here. So fuel is really stable on prices here. About 20,900 currently on the sellers next door and here in local. 19,650 currently for the buyers. Hydrogen fuel blocks. Also, these are quite stable, well stable. We're sitting quite high on price really for a few weeks. We see suddenly now for yesterday and today quite of a drop in price, heading at the 20,000 mark. That is maybe 1 year low. We said see here at 19,000. We got here in 1980. A year ago 1999. So 20,000. Very simple set, price is low. This 20,000 is a real low price for fuel here, because most of the year it's sitting above that price, sitting a little bit lower. I see the lowest was 19,000, so it's not a 1 year low, but still 20,000 is not a bad price for the hydrogen fuel blocks. I don't know where they've been used for a lot. Of fuel blocks only for the complexes, of course. But if this is so low, this might gonna get a jump up in price soon. It looks like this is currently the cheapest fuel to get at the moment. 20,500 currently for the sellers and 90,600 on the buyers. Not quite, because helium is sitting pretty much at the same range on price. It's a little bit higher on the buyers, on the sellers. But on the buyers sitting pretty much at the same place. Nitrogen fuel blocks, we see a spike in price here. It has been stable a really long time here. For a really long time. For pretty much a whole month. At least for a quite stable price here. It seems now it's the point that it broke. And we're seeing a jump up in price. Heading for the 25,000 average price plus. We've seen already a slight drop in it. On that, we see also big sales here for that. Someone decided to make good profit on that and selling it. Good choice, good profit on that. We see already that the price is trying to go back down, and I think we're just gonna head back down towards a normal price of 21,500. Keep an eye on it, on that prices 23,800, or rounded up 900 on the sellers. Here local, there's one coming in next door for 21,500. What is a quite low price for that. 20,800 on the buyers. Auction fuel. After the spike we had last time, this might even be only this week. No, it was last week also that we had this spike up in price. It's starting to recover and starting to drop down, and starting to drop really far down, because so here on the 28th, that was by the way Wednesday, we dropped even below the 20,000 on average price for the oxygen fuel blocks, and that is quite low. It's not the lowest. We see 19,000 here, 99, 20, 19,600, 96 looks to be the lowest. No, 19,000 is the lowest we see from the whole year. At the moment, it is not a bad price. 90,800 is not a bad price on that day, but it's already going back up again. So we're seeing price increase already. 21,500 currently for the sellers, 19,804 on the buyers. Well, I'm getting an Eve mail, not on discount. Oh, skill training completed. I thought I got an Eve mail. My phone just gonna shut up now. So yeah, we saw a little bit of drop during this week on price there. Drone parts, drone caterpillar fluids. We see this one starting to increase in price. There's not too much on the market, so we're definitely gonna see more of an increase on that. Currently about 200,000 on price. Staying quite stable on that price. Not doing too much. Yeah, the Swarm event has ended Tuesday. So there's no more drops of this. The drops were quite low. Whoops. So it did not have any effect on the market. And we see clearly here that it's even gonna increase in price for those. But it's not bad. We're seeing this is gonna look quite healthy on the price if it keeps on going. Maybe we're going back on the high price before. Doing 45,000 currently on the sellers. 180,000 on the buyers. That's quite a margin here on that. I think the buyers need to go up a little bit more on this. Drone cerebral fragments. What to say about it? It's just a flat line. Really stable on price. We see a few spikes here on sales. No effect on it. Really stable on that. 240,000 on the sellers. 163,000 on the buyers. Drone coronary units, also here really stable, seeing only here the buyers and sellers difference. We don't see any spikes on the price. Yeah, so also here really stable there. Not really any movement on that. 3.8 million on the sellers and 3.5 million on the buyers. Drone epidermal shielding chunk seems to be a little bit more on the drop during this week. The drop is only really small. We see also here the market is starting to stabilize, so I'm gonna expect we're gonna soon see more of a flat line on these. On this, it's already trying to make a flat line. We're seeing a little bit buyer sellers difference. That's the only thing I see, but we're seeing quite more on the low side. We might even drop in price on this, or we're just gonna stay really stable on the price here. 55,000 on the sellers. There's only one unit, by the way, so 60,000 on the sellers and 35,000 on the buyers. Drone synaptic relay wiring, making a little bit of an uptrend. One of the only ones that really make an uptrend in price. Was quite stable for 1.5 to 2 weeks on price. But now we're seeing a little bit crawling up on the price. I don't know if this is gonna maintain really. We've seen these jumps up here before and then drops again, another jump up and drops again. I think this is just gonna be another jump up and then gonna come down again on price. I'm not gonna expect really any huge spikes here. Seeing the rest is also really stable on that. 10,800 on the sellers, 8,500 on the buyers. Drone tactical limp. Well, nothing to report about that. 49 to 50,000 on the sellers and 28,000 on the buyers. Elite drone AI, basically buyers sellers difference. It looks to be a really small increase in the price, but it's so small it's hardly to see. Can only see the limit on the 5 day. It's starting to go up here a little bit. That's about it I can see. But the increase is really small on that. 6 million for the sellers, 4.1 million on the buyers. Then we're gonna go on for I think we're gonna go on for ships, don't we? Because movement also really is last. Just a quick look if you see any jumping up. Caracal pretty much sold out here on the market, but it has like no effect on the prices really. It seems to be even going down a bit. So it's not really a huge amount happening here. I think it's just the regular ups and downs we see here. We've seen a little bit of an up before. We're starting to drop down now. I think we're gonna drop back down around this price again. I think if I look like this, maybe in the middle or towards the end of the next week, I'm gonna sit on a low price, and then we're gonna see the price increase again. For that, 9.4 million currently for the sellers, 8.5 million, 8.6 million for the buyers. There are 2 ships, or at least the logistics. Basilisk, after the increase they had last week, continues on pretty much for almost the whole week here, reaching a top price of 270 million for Embassy. That is a really high price for it, that I did not expect really. It was a high price last week already. I did not expect this one to keep on going to almost getting really close to the 300 million for Embassy. We can see now that seems to be a little bit of supply coming tomorrow to the market. 250, 240 million for Embassy on average price per day. So the price is starting to drop down again, and expecting this one to get back down towards a normal price. So really high price currently, 270 million you're gonna pay for Embassy if you buy one straight off the market. 185.7 million on the buyers. Guardian, not doing really too much. We had a little bit of an increase last week in the price, at the highest price of max of 210 million. Now already back down to pretty much average price of 190 million. So put back at slightly higher price than a normal price here. But it's already staying higher for a little bit longer time, so this might be now back at the normal price for the Guardian. Still, it's a little bit higher than I see normal here from the rest of the year, but it looks like more stabilizing around the 190. 202, well, 203 million currently on the seller side, 179.4 million on the buyers. The Oneros is on a downtrend in price, and quite of a big downtrend too. After the jump up here, staying at quite 190 million for an Oneros is quite high priced. But we can clearly see here now that we are dropping in price, getting lower and lower, and we're sitting currently on today average price around 150 million. Don't ask me what the build price is. It is really low price currently for the Oneros. But it is not a bad price for that. I think it's gonna be getting close to a really good buy price currently for Oneros, because it is a quite low price. It's not an all-time low. Looks like to be here of 120 million, but still 150 is not bad. If you want to buy some of these, I would wait a little bit. Might come down a little bit more. 163 million currently on the sellers, 145.9 million on the buyers. Then Scimitar, still really stable on price. It looks we still have a really slight drop in price, average price, but not too much on that. But it's a really small drop on there. Not too much to tell really. 168 million currently on the sellers. It's a quite low one coming in, because the next one is 172 million. So that's a quick 4 mil difference already on that price. 161 million currently on the buyers. Tech 3 ships. This is maybe gonna be really interesting what's gonna happen. We're gonna start off with the Tech 3 destroyers, the Confessor. The cruisers are maybe gonna be really interesting, and this one is also really interesting. Confessor making again a second jump up in price. I totally did not expect this one. 2 spikes really in like 2-3 weeks times for Confessor. Indicates that they are currently quite popular to use, and they're just really jumping up high. Again, this week we jumped up to 50, it looks like even 60 million, 56 million even on price. Really surprised about this. I did not expect a second jump for the price. So it means that they're running out of supply again here, and there's just a shortage on it. Really high priced again on the Confessor. 57.3 million currently on the sellers and 40 million on the buyers. Hecate also making a jump up in price. This is the first jump in a while for the Hecate after it's been dropping down for a while on price and sitting really low. We now see suddenly a jump up in price. We see also a sales jump here 4 days ago. What is pushing the price up? We came at a high price of 47.1 million is at the high price here, not breaking records here yet for this year, but we see already that the price is starting to drop down again. So I think during the weekend this price will start coming down more if more supplies come towards the market. 39 million currently for the sellers, 31.5 million on the buyers. That's even next door, but same price here in the trade hub. Is Jackdaw making a spike? It was already making a spike, and it continued it on this week even, with really pretty much a record price of 55 million for a Jackdaw. What is quite of a high price. We see also price spike sales here. Even for today we've seen a spike on sales for the Jackdaw. It is going a little bit down on price. I'm also gonna expect more during the weekend that the price starting to come down, but it will come more down during the next week. Might come down more towards this height on price, around the 35-36 million ISK. 48.9 million currently on the sellers and 30.1 million on the buyers. Also, Sifpool is making a jump up this week, not as rapidly as most of them. We have been sitting around the 46.4 million for 2 days in a row. But we see also here we're starting to drop. Also spike sales here, pretty much for a lot of days during the week. But it's gonna indicate that there were people needed some more Sifpools, and this pushed really the price up. But I think this is gonna be pretty much the same story as the Jackdaw, that it's gonna come down a little bit during the weekend and more during the next week. 31 million currently for the sellers, 28.4 million for the buyers. Now the Tech 3 destroyers might be really interesting what these gonna do, and we see at least a price spike for the Legion. Legion is suddenly making a jump up in price to about 140 million on the average prices. We've seen it also keep on going for today. I think he managed to poke itself again apparently. I'm seeing it jump up and seeing already starting to slowly come down. I think people have been doing this test watching on the test server, testing these out, the new stats for the Tech 3 cruisers, and might indicate that the Legion is gonna go up in price when this hit the server, because they seem to be thinking that this is a good ship and will increase in price. I haven't looked at the stats of this stuff at all, but this might have an indication that it's gonna be a good ship. On the 45.8 million currently for the sellers, 127.5 million for the buyers. Loki, I already heard rumors that this one was going really good for the stars because it's gonna get an all-round bonus for armor and shield, and also this one is definitely making a spike up in price. We see a record price here, even above the 250 million. There's no average price there on that day, but the highest price we got currently is 190 million for a Loki hull, what is a big jump up. And also this one seems to be gonna be a really popular ship because it's gonna be so versatile. You can go for armor tank then or shield tank on that ship. I haven't looked at it yet, but I might gonna take a look and see what the stats are for this. But from at the moment, also this one is making a jump up, and keep a really good eye on this if you're doing any business in this. 187 million currently on the sellers, 155.5 million currently for the buyers. Purchases, on the other hand, is staying really stable on price. We see a little bit of an increase, so it looks to be a little bit less popular with the new changes on the test server. But for now, it seems to be staying quite stable on price here. Not huge movements on that. We've seen a little bit of a small increase in it, but already it's starting to drop back down again. So Proteus is not that popular for that. It looks like definitely the Legion and the Loki can get a good boost on that. 145 million basically for the sellers and 121 million on the buyers. Tengu. Here's also a little bit of an uptrend in price. Heading up for currently about... Not getting data. I think he broke again. Definitely broke. Yeah, broke. So Tengu also going up in price. Heading for a high price, but not a 1 year high. Also not gonna expect him to go that high. But at least this one is getting a little bit popular. You see quite a big increase in sales during the whole week here. That one is at least working on that. So Tengu is going up. It doesn't even seem to be want to go down in price yet, like the Legion that is starting to slow down a little bit. Only a little bit, so not really gonna do that. Loki was also offered. Loki was also doing a dropping. It was not dropping on price. So Tengu is also not doing that. I'm gonna expect these three, Legion, Loki, Tengu, to might increase a bit more in price, or a lot more during the weekend, or maybe even next week. But that's gonna be a short jump up because the stuff did not hit the main server yet. It's only on the test server. Things can still change on that, and then we're gonna see what is really gonna happen on the market with this. 130 million currently for the sellers, 122.5 million currently for the buyers. Quick look between moon materials. See if there's any movement here. Crystalline carbonite is still really stable. This one is finally starting to come down after a really 1 year high price that we had multiple times in the last 3 months. Every month had like a really high spike on price at 100,000. We see now again a drop in price. I'm not sure, but if this is gonna happen once each month, we might gonna see another drop here in price again, and then maybe next month, middle or at the end of the month, we're gonna see another jump up, if that's gonna happen. But these are just really weird prices for amarr, especially from a condensate. It's a weird price. is normal sitting around like 55,000. It's normal price. This is just weird here. Current prices here on the market 85,000 on the sellers and 78,000 on the buyers. Granite carpet, not really anything special there. Froggle is starting to drop down finally after a really high prices for definitely at 1 year high prices here, but we're now definitely starting to drop in price, and I think that we're just gonna get now finally back to a normal price for Froggle here. It's really high at the moment. If you have some lying around, it's gonna be a good choice to sell it now. 43,500 currently on the sellers and 36,000 on the buyers. Fuel rods, not really too much movement here. It's starting to slightly drop in price for that. Hypersynaptic fibers are making an increase in price this week, not getting towards a 1 year high, but it's not a bad price here at the moment. Not too much on the market, 11,500 for the sellers, 10,500 for the buyers. Nanotransistors has come down a bit on price here after the 1 year high that we saw here, but we are still sitting really high on price for nanotransistors right here. That quite stable for the last 3 to 4 days on price here. I don't know where this is gonna go. I have no idea. It's suddenly some jump up and suddenly comes down and then suddenly almost flat. I have no idea where this is gonna head to. By the looks of the line sitting pretty much on the low side on the average prices, I'm gonna expect this one more to start dropping in price. 4,700 basically for the sellers and 4,000 on the buyers. Normally metal materials, really stable on price. The buyers sellers difference, that's about it. This one is also starting to stabilize again. Looks like we're gonna hit more towards a normal price here, a little bit lower after a little bit of a jump up in price on that. I think we're just gonna head for a summer drop for this. Yeah. Photonic metal materials is making quite of a big drop. You see also a huge spike on sales here. Almost 1 million on 1 day. That was Wednesday. That's a huge amount for 1 day really. This is definitely pushing the price even more down because we're dropping here now back to 11,500 per unit. That's quite of a low price for this. 11,450 currently for the sellers. 9,700 currently for the buyers. That's quite of a low price. I don't think we're gonna get a 1 year low. I'm not gonna expect that. Plasmonic metal materials going back up again in price. It was already last week and the week before that, and it just keeps on going on for this price. Just keeps on going up and up. What looks really healthy on this side. A little bit bad for me because I'm gonna need to buy in high if I need it. But it is for now for people that want to sell. Don't wait too long if you have something. Almost 15,000 for the sellers and 12,200 pretty much for the buyers. Ceramic fibers still going up in price, and it looks like gonna hit 1 year high prices here during this week. 398, 295 and just below the 1 year high. 400 was about a week, 1.5 week ago. We had a 1 year high. We're sitting now also again really close to the 1 year high. Also here, don't wait too long. These are really good in price at the moment. I'm gonna expect quite soon another drop. You can see here, if you follow this graph, then I'm gonna not expect a soon drop on this price. Since we're already sitting so high in price, I'm gonna expect soon there's more coming towards the market and starting to push the price down. 298 to almost close to the 400 already on the seller's price here, and 374 on the buyers. Terra's metal materials not doing too much. We've seen a little bit of a price increase here for the last 2 days. I cannot really tell if this is gonna keep on going. It might, but not so sure. 23,750 currently for the sellers and 20,000 for the buyers. Titanium carbide not doing anything weird here, just ups and downs. It is making, sitting a little bit on the higher side on price at the moment. I think this is currently, if you look at the graph, a little bit of a normal price, so sitting just a bit above a higher price. Tungsten carbide has come down a lot this week. From a really high price last week, around the 197, we have dropped down to the low point this week, I think almost 137 even on average. It's already going a little bit back up, but I think it's just gonna get a little bit of normal price. About a year ago it was quite stable, seeing a little bit of movements in it, really stable. At the moment this year we're making quite of a big jumps up in prices here. Quick look at the price, 145 to 160 for the sellers, 133 at the moment for the buyers. This was this week's look at the market. We are sitting underneath an hour because I was trying to go a little bit quicker through it. I try not to long stay at one item anymore. I try to go a little bit quicker through it, looking quickly at the graph, seeing where it's gonna go, then quickly looking at the prices. If I go a little bit too quick through it, if you wanted me to stay a little bit on the prices a little bit longer, let me know down in the comments. I will try next time a little bit to stay a little bit longer on that. But the problem then is that the video is gonna get like longer and longer. We're gonna cross the 1 hour mark again, and that's really why I'm trying to stay underneath it. At least for now, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I don't know how many people even at watching this video are watching also my, basically I can say now, new series, because it's a quite popular series. I made a new playlist of it. Means really EVO Online Industrial Life. So it's really my industrial life here that is gonna be put out daily, really, if I'm home, if I got time. But it's a daily live streaming it on Twitch and on YouTube. I'm seeing a lot of people passing by. Basically what I'm only doing is showing my delivering my jobs that I'm doing. Starting of course in the beginning with my spreadsheet to see what is sold out on the market, so I know what I'm gonna produce. And then starting and then putting stuff on the market, then doing production, and then yeah, that's it basically what I'm doing. But it is quite popular on the viewers, because I'm getting quite a lot of viewers with it, more than I do with the other games. So I'm getting easily 10 to sometimes even 15 viewers with it, and even a lot of subs and followers on Twitch and YouTube. For those that also watching this and also joining up in my live streams, really thanks for subbing or following my channels. Really appreciate it on that. Just for you guys a little bit of an update to see how popular this is. I think in the last week I got like 10 subs on YouTube with it, just of streaming that. And on Twitch I got like, I think 5 followers on my channel there. So you have a little bit of idea how popular it is. And it's not that much that I'm doing, really. Alright, I keep on talking. We're getting now really close to the 1 hour. Gonna wrap it up here now. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope to see you maybe in the live streams. Thanks for watching and fly safe.